Officially Finner with your hosts, Robin and Rudy, a podcast about family where we live, love, and laugh along the way.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Officially Finner podcast.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm Robin Fenner, and this is my husband Rudy. We are co-hosts, and
Hello,
we
everyone.
we are so happy to be with you today. It's we've been having a lot of fun putting this one together, especially.
Yes.
And as you know,
Well, it actually started as a mild argument. It was not an argument, but it was an argument. You made a statement, and there was tremendous pushback. And then there was pushback to the pushback. And we realized this needs to be a podcast because this is not just happening here.
yeah, that makes life fun though. But you know what? Before we kick off and talk about what we plan to talk about today, we first have to give a great shout out and congratulations to Darrell Green. As many of you know, he is a member of our family. He's Rudy's, well, my our brother-in-law,
Yeah.
and we love him very much.
Yeah.
We have known him since
2-8, baby.
shh, he's they can't hear what I'm saying. See, you're loud. We've known him since his second year when he joined the what was
No, actually, 30 seconds. I'm walking through the mall.
no, you told the story 3 times. I just
Oh,
want to know which
sorry.
second year, what year.
No, it was his first year.
It was first
It
year.
was his first year. His
Okay,
rookie
his
season.
rookie season.
December of his rookie season.
Yes,
He just came here in August.
yes, it was the year that I was pregnant with the
I've
twins.
never
on
told that
Christmas-
story on that
Christmas Eve.
podcast.
You tell the story. That's all right. Let's save it. That'll be
I have
another one.
not told that
You
story.
can
But
go,
anyway,
you can go deep into that because there's a lot to say about.
congratulations,
that weekend, too.
Darrell.
Yes.
They are retiring your jersey.
Yes.
Everybody on the planet has said it's far overdue.
Yes.
It's not just coming from family members who wanted it retired before you finished playing.
Yeah.
But dude, you know the thing that is so cool about this is that in your activity, the world has had a glimpse of you, and so it has come to realize what we have known. Your person, you are an all-time great football player, Hall of Fame bust, always remembered, always talked about. But you, the person, is on steroids compared to that person. Your hand in so many people's lives and just influencing constantly pushing. We are a pushy group, and you are a part of that pushy group in terms of pushing us to be better, to be good, to be all that we can be, and it is so awesome. Just received. I'm loving that the babies are into it. The grandbabies, my grandbabies, your grandbabies, all of the kids are just like, wait a minute. Who is this guy? And that's so cool to see. So we appreciate you. We love you. And congratulations.
You do so much for the world. So it's this community, and you just have always reached out to other people and set a wonderful example for everyone. So football is something that's been a great part of your life. It's something that you've done, but who you are is way more than that. So,
Absolutely.
So I want to say that. So remember the jersey number 28 from the
Yes.
Washington Commanders.
Big stuff coming up this fall and the celebration for that.
Yeah.
So this party, I'm gonna drive y'all crazy with this because I'm gonna talk about it every chance I get. Blah 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 blah, and on social media too. So you want to hit us up and watch because there'll be a lot of hopefully inside stuff going on that we can share with you as we celebrate.
All right. So now that we've got that over with, not over with, but we've covered that, I should say. We're going to turn to one of our the ongoing topics in our household. I don't understand how this has happened, but it has happened to us.
We don't call it a debate. We call it a topic. We don't call it an argument. We call it a
It-
conversation. We
It-
no,
it
we
is- it
argue
is-
about this. This
it
gets
is
into
an argument.
this
It's a
becomes an
conversation.
argument. Yes, it is.
But I would say here's the thing. I think a lot of people can relate to this because there's so many other people in this country who have been involved in the same thing, and
Ooh,
that is
yeah.
watching Suits.
Suit.
We've mentioned it before,
Suits.
just a little bit, but we thought that today we kind of do a deeper dive on it because it was kind of like Queen Charlotte with Bridgerton and how that became a piece of that the show, and there was so much to that particular series,
Yeah.
and we thought that for some reason Suits captivates us all the time. I've watched it. I'm on my third time watching it.
I almost call it a hostage
But-
situation because
But-
I don't. Everybody's not volunteering here, but you're being drafted and you're being involved in it, and you can't help it. And I'm one of the thems. Hey, just let me tell you. And from time to time, you all know this. We're gonna dip our toes into pop culture because we're in it. We love pop culture. I am into so much stuff. I'm looking at Rihanna Fenty Jam, and I'm looking at my boy Pharrell over with Louis Vuitton, and I'm looking at streaming and what's popular, and we're looking at music, and we're gonna dive into those because there's some really incredible topics that we see and hear you talking about, and they're relevant to us. So from time to time, we're gonna dip our toe in, and today it is all about suits. So let me just do this. Let me set this up. So Robin, tell us what is suit. So many people, we're gonna do like people do in a faith-based community. If you're smart, you know how to meet people where they are. We're not gonna assume that everybody knows what Suits is. We're not gonna assume that everybody's watched an episode of Suits. So I'm going to ask you, what is Suits? What is that?
Suits is a show that is, I guess they call it kind of a legal kind of comedy. It has so many different parts to it that kind of help you to emote, I guess. That was on USA Network, I think it was,
Yep, yep.
for like 8 years.
Okay.
And it was really talked about more at the time once, Meghan Markle started dating Prince Harry when she was on the show. And I'm not sure how many people are actually watching the USA Network, but at that point, eyeballs started growing, and it became, over the years, it's been streamed and has moved from one network to others. It went to Netflix, and in last year, 2023, it became kind of a runaway hit on Netflix, and everybody was talking about Suits. So it's got so much to it. It's if you watch the characters, they're all good. It's a great ensemble cast, so they all work well together. It has engaging storylines. The dialogue and the banter are hilarious. The characters and the way their different stories and how they behave are definitely people that you can relate to. It has fashion and style. I mean, these women, especially, and the men too, they look great in their suits. But the women, they wear some really beautiful clothes. I'm not sure that it's exactly what you might find in a law firm, but it's okay. We can still, dream. I'm always wondering where they have the wardrobe for Gina Torres, who plays Jessica, the attorney on there, who's the
Oh
main
no, she's
partner.
not just an
I'm
attorney.
just trying to find out.
So we're gonna get into characters a little bit, but no,
Yes.
no, 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 no. You could
No,
never
she's the
describe
managing partner.
Jessica
She's the managing
as a
partner.
character. So
Yeah.
let me go back. Let me go back.
Were you asking me?
So I asked you what it was, and that's a good explanation. So let's just kind of drill down. So I think it's my notes said it launched in June 23rd of 2011.
Okay.
So this was a pre-pandemic show.
Mm-hmm.
2011. It comes out on USA Network. Now I don't recall, so I didn't think about this before, so I didn't research this. USA Network at the time was not a broadcast channel. I don't think. I think it was. Yes, it
Was
was.
it cable? It was cable.
Was it
Probably, right?
cable only?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating. So I'm interested in the timeline of how this progressed because there's so much that's going on from a historical perspective. It would be great to take at some point when I had the time and I didn't do it. I apologize. To have a timeline of broadcast television, streaming, cable television, to lay those out and look at this and see how this show moved during the course of those changes. And then, of course, the last episode, it concluded September 8th, season 9, 2023, is what my notes say. Now,
I think it actually stopped production in 2019 because when Harry and Meghan got married, I think they felt that they had come to kind of the end of an arc. I'm not sure it actually
so
produced.
yeah, my notes
Yeah.
actually said the Suits showrunners faced a few casting changes that led them to decide that Suits would conclude after season 9, September 8th, 2023. I don't remember if that was the broadcast date or so what they may have been pieces that were done. The production was done in 2019, but the broadcast stopped then. But my point is so this was a pre-pandemic, pandemic, post-pandemic show. It's interesting that it made, and I'm fascinated by what we did during the pandemic and what entertainment that was available to us, how it was affected. That's an interesting science unto itself, right? And so I was curious about that. It now one of the reasons that we're talking about it is this big relaunch.
Well,
So it
yeah,
went from
yeah.
USA Network to Netflix, And now, because of the incredible success in 2023, it's being relaunched on Fox Network, and that's Fox Broadcast Network.
Yeah. Okay. So it will be rerun on there, but I bet you differ with you because it actually ended production in 2019. So
Yeah.
so the whole what was so interesting was it had ended production then, and it came back, and everybody got so interested
Right.
in
So,
it after
so
that.
y'all, what y'all
So
getting you're getting a glimpse into what happens in our household. So that she is not going to not be right with this. I said production ended in 2019. I'm
no,
agreeing with you.
well, you
But
said
they
it went
don't
on until
broadcast just
2023.
like our podcast.
They
We
didn't
don't
have they
broadcast
didn't
the
have
day we
4
finish
years of
production.
episodes.
Oh
They had
my. They
reruns.
had 9 seasons.
They had
The
they
last
called them
of which
seasons,
was
but
recorded in 2019.
that's what I said. It was
Right.
but you keep
I'm not
saying we went to
debating you. The
2023.
last broadcast was 2023. Broadcast is different from production. You don't.
Are you saying that they have seasons that they didn't show until 2023?
Oh my, this is just not
I know
going
you've
to
gone
end.
sideways with this,
I
but
haven't. I'm reading
why
from
why don't
my
we just
very
kind of
accurately and well put
well,
together
your source?
notes.
My source is
My
IMDb, so
sources.
you can go right ahead. I'm looking at
So
it.
so yeah, so it's a fascinating thing. So let me do this. Let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about the characters, because I think therein lies maybe the core. Because it's a standard legal drama. We've had legal drama since Perry Mason. This has been going on forever. Perry Mason, Madlock. There's been lawyers since the beginning of television.
I don't remember those.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm old enough to remember those. Everybody else in the house that knows what I'm talking about say, yeah, thank you very much. Okay. Um, so this is a very different slant in that it probably dives a little more into their personalities. And I think, gosh, I'm not criticizing the older shows, but I think the character development here was pretty startling
Yes.
because let's take a character like Louis Litt.
Yes.
Now, Louis Litt makes your flesh crawl when you first meet him. And many of us have had jobs where there was a Louis Litt like character who thought he got his stripes in life by being what we'll call at least mildly abusive. I remember the first full time job I walked on. I will never forget it. I will not call this guy's name out. But there was a boss. I worked in a computer room, and there was a boss that just spewed out this flood of expletives at somebody that I knew. And I looked at them, and now I grew up in Washington, D.C. I wasn't in a rough neighborhood, but it was rough enough. If you came through, you knew you were there, and it was, yeah. It was kind of tough. Let me take that back. It was kind of tough. So my immediate reaction was to punch this dude in the mouth. You can't have nobody talking to you like that.
That's what you wanted to do.
I mean, I said that, and my body began to form, and I looked around, and I realized that everybody was good with this. And the person that I knew was good with this. And I kind of like, really? Now, strange enough, I think there was a look on my face that guy never spoke to me that way. And the years I worked there for 5 years, he never spoke to me. And I heard him do that to other people. That is so much Louis Litt. Because Louis Litt did this, and
He was terrible to the lawyers who just started.
and
there.
primarily
Yeah.
they turned the interns over to them because somehow in this law firm, it was almost like a military like initiation where a drill sergeant will strip you down to nothing, then build you back up. And that's kind of in a twisted way. That's what Lewis kind of does. Because as you watch these episodes, after he's stripped a person bare naked in the middle of the floor, he does these little weird things and his character develops. He becomes better at doing those things where he embraces them and begins to touch the human side and the lawyer side of him at the same time.
He'll mentor them. Yeah.
This is interesting. I never thought about that character. I thought about that him.
Yeah, he's really competitive, really sensitive, really tough on the incoming attorneys.
Right. And they let you see more into his life.
And very insecure.
And incredibly complex. But golly, how many people do we know like him?
Yeah, and I think that's part of the whole thing with the characters.
Oh my
and
gosh.
that is, there's something about all of them, and because I think the development is so well done,
Yeah.
that so many people relate to them,
Yeah.
and how in their behavior, they know someone like them, they might see some of themselves in them. So let me ask you this though.
Sure.
Okay, you went to Louis Litt, who's
Yeah.
I mean, they just have kind of this all-star
There's
cast.
low-hanging fruit.
So there's Harvey and there's our friend. and
Mike.
your friend Mike Ross, who
Marvelous
he
Mike
and I
Ross.
disagree about like every day, but that's okay. That tells you how well the actor played his
I want to
role.
go in deeper, but ask you a question.
Oh, I want to know, like, who's your favorite character in there?
My favorite character. Who is my favorite character? My gosh. Robin, that's a good question. I think my favorite character, honestly, um,
Zane.
my favorite character, no. I love,
You relate to Zane, but go on
well, I
because of the
relate
wire.
to
But
him.
go on.
I relate to him because of The Wire and because I saw Bunk on an escalator in New York, and we spoke, and we were able to verbally dap it up, and it just like he will always be one of my favorite people of all time, no matter what role he plays in. But I think probably my favorite person would probably be Harvey.
Really?
But it would be the cumulative effect of Harvey, not initial Harvey, because I've never been that smug and arrogant. This is not my jam. I'm confident. I'm very confident. In fact, most people when they first see me, they're shocked at how short I am because they were sure I was taller. And that's behavioral. That's coming from. But Harvey's style, paid way too much attention to his clothes, and I do. I'm almost in need of therapy. There's constant debates and conversations about my shoe collection. I will go to ridiculous lengths to make an outfit look the way I want it to look, and Harvey looks like he did the same thing. But I think over time, Harvey, I think he took longer to find out real grown up life than I did. But I think there are some similarities in in our behavior. You have this fake front. You really want to be. Again, it took me a shorter period of time to realize how much my wife and my family was needed in my life. He eventually got there,
Yeah.
but you had to watch several seasons to understand. For me, I was blessed and I figured it out. I got it, and so I was able to get there, and I was able to understand sooner. So for me, I got it. Um, Let me see. The other thing. So Harvey was that's the answer to the question.
Yeah.
Harvey was my favorite character. He was definitely my guy. There were several people, and like I said, I think what happened over time, they developed the characters to a point that they were able to give you all sorts of nuances and different insights into these characters. It took some time, but you learn to love them all. You learn to love and appreciate. You learn to love and appreciate all of them, and they were each one of them. And that's why when you ask me that question, I struggle because I admire Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm saying Jessica. There are no TV shows where a woman is that powerful in the show, and she really does drive it. And she really, I mean, there might be something that's similar. I mean, I don't watch. I mean, most of my viewing is sports, so
That's true.
I'm not a professional viewer, but her character is so incredibly unique. She is a black woman in charge of a legal empire, and that's like what? And they all adore her and respect her tremendously, and that's so yeah. Her and yeah, it's interesting. I think there's the thing about I kind of love Lewis Litt because Lewis, there's a sensitivity that Lewis has that I have.
There's something about each of them.
Yes, yeah, that's
and
a
that
struggle.
I think is what draws
I ain't
us
nothing
into
like
them.
Mike though. And let me go on. Let's
Well,
go on and get to
well,
it.
I think Mike.
Let's
I mean,
just
I
get
don't
to
know why.
it.
Yes, you are. You have a soft spot for things.
I got it. Yeah, I do. I'm sensitive.
Yeah, you're sensitive.
Mike ain't had no. Mike
he
had a
did.
soft spot to Mike.
Yes, he did. Because when he left the show, he went to run a
Okay,
legal
let's talk
clinic.
about Mike Ross.
He
So
really
first,
did try
why
to
don't you
help
describe to people, according to the show, not emotionally, describe Mike. Tell them the character Mike. Is there any place that reads? I'll research.
He
You
was
keep
a really
on.
smart guy. He had a photographic memory that he used to get into the law firm. He hadn't gone to law school, and he didn't have money, right? And wasn't he earning money by taking tests and that sort of thing for people? And he was helping to fund his grandmother, pay for care for his grandmother, wasn't
Okay, so she's
has
going
to-
to give
he has to
you
go back.
this version
So-
of Mike.
he? So he went into a law firm, and he had not gone to law school. He had not graduated from law school. He had not passed the bar, but he had memorized things that were in all the law books. And he could give you a book and tell you to turn to any page you wanted, and he could tell you exactly what was on that page.
Okay, no, this is worth it. This is worth it.
What?
Michael James Ross, played by Patrick Adams, is a lawyer and an eidetic
Yeah, something. Well, photographic.
with an eidetic memory and the ability to absorb large amounts of printed material very rapidly, who never attended law school. While in college, he aspired to be a lawyer and even passed the bar examination on a dare. However, he was expelled after his friend Trevor Evans convinced him to memorize a calculus test and sell it in order to pay off Trevor's debts to a drug dealer.
Okay.
They unknowingly sold the answers to the dean's daughter, forcing the dean to resign under scrutiny, but not before revoking Mike's scholarship and expelling him. I'm just going to stop right there.
We know young college kids do a lot of things.
They do, but so
But he evolved.
if
Come
you
on
keep
now,
on going,
give him credit
at the
for
beginning,
changing.
at the beginning of Mike's story,
Okay.
Mike's parents were killed in a car crash.
Right.
Mike, as a result, was raised by his grandmother. Mike, if you really get mushy, it depends on if you want to be the mushy person or the tough person, right? The mushy person would say, as a result of Mike never having the proper counseling and help to work through his trauma, Mike began to, like the rap songs say, the soul songs, I should say, hurt people, hurt people. And so Mike began to take a pound of flesh from all of mankind because of his pain. And so Mike started to shortcut and exploit everything he could. That was a shortcut. That was an exploiting himself and the people who did not have the talents and skills that he had. It started with the exam, but the show goes on and he continuously does things. It is really something.
Is it by choice or because he's in a box at that time?
Here we go. Mushy or tough? Mushy or tough? So I think life, okay, now y'all send notes, tell me what you think. I think life experiences give you two options. You can use them as incentive or you can use them as an excuse.
If somebody helps you see that.
That's
But
just
he
me.
He was young
I'm just
without
saying.
guidance. You are looking back on life
Every
and now you
example
realize
that
at
we
this
for
point
every
in
example
life.
that we use, we can find a person. We find people in Compton. One guy in the same house. One guy went to Sanford. What is the school in LA? The big school in California? Stanford, yeah. One went to Stanford. The other went to crack dealing. Same house. Same situations, same circumstances, different choices about how to handle it. There's a lot of psychology that I'm not going to attempt to drive through. But that is seen all over the place. Mike chose to use it as an excuse. And it catapulted him into a world of...
I think he got caught up in something and he wound up where he was. I don't think that he set out to do that.
I don't think so either.
He didn't. I think...
But once he was there,
yeah.
he took off his shoes and he propped his feet up. That's all I'm saying.
He's not like that, people. You know what? We can't tell you too much of the show because we give it away. You need to watch it for yourselves and tell us what you think about Mike.
Yeah,
Okay?
I mean, you could
because he grows into a competent lawyer, right? Yes.
Did he?
Yes.
But I think he was okay, so I think he became a lawyer, but he never could remove himself and his emotions from things.
Well,
so I think feelings and emotions can drive you to the edge of the earth and off a cliff if that's what you're driven by. He did not have... Okay, let me ask you this question. Did Mike have a moral compass?
I think he did.
Mike's moral compass was like Jack Sparrow's. That compass
fine.
that he had
See,
that kept turning to the...
This is why we disagree.
Yeah,
This is why we disagree about
his
Mike.
moral
And you've
compass
always
was
been
flexible.
so hard on
if
him.
he was able to
I don't think
justify it, it was
no.
okay.
I don't think so. He didn't set out
I
to
want
do
to take
these
Mike
things.
to church.
Mike is going to be okay.
I want Mike to meet
First of
some
all.
of my Christian friends.
When he left, when Mike's
Or my
character,
Muslim friends.
when-
Or my and he just I need Mike to believe in something. Mike only believed in Mike.
I disagree
didn't
with
believe
you.
it?
No, Mike wanted to help a lot of nonprofits. He went and did that, trying to help people in
Right.
other places.
Right.
But
He
the
did that.
conflict he faced was working for a corporate law firm.
Every
then
gangster
trying to
has
help
given
somebody
away
else out.
turkeys on Thanksgiving.
It's not like that. Okay. All right. Leave Mike Ross alone. What we have to say about this is that Patrick Adams played the role beautifully because had he not, we would not be having this constant debate about Mike Ross, the character that he played. How about that?
So his was interesting. When I looked on, they described this show as formulaic, right? As a standard formulaic show. But there was something about this was different because one of the things that was fascinating about Suits that has us talking about it is what is it? Suits had what is it? What is that number? There was a number. Oh, Suits sets streaming record for the year, and this is 2023. The show racked up 57.7 billion minutes of viewing, the highest year-end total Nielsen has ever reached in the 4 years it has released annual streaming totals. Suits finishes ahead of the 57.13 billion minutes of viewing The Office had. This is crazy, and that is why the Fox broadcast folks got in there and started digging and grinding and fighting with everybody else to get access to it because they feel like now it's qualified for broadcast viewing. This is
Well,
such
Netflix
a
already established that. We need
but this
Fox
is such
for that.
a well.
But Netflix
I
did
hear
it.
you.
If it hadn't been for Netflix picking up most of those shows, and then a couple were shared on a couple of seasons, I think were shared on Peacock, and maybe one other
Yes,
place.
yes.
The last two seasons. But if had Netflix not done what they did, nobody else. I mean,
But
I don't know that Fox or somebody else would have gone after
I
it the same
think
way.
the
Netflix helped
fascinating-
to establish it for the masses.
Yes. The fascinating
you,
part
Netflix.
here is how incredibly different the viewing public that paradigm is now. In the old days, and some of you all know this, but for people that don't, the argument has always and continues to be content creator versus content creator versus content distributor. In the old days, Desilu produced a show, Lucy. CBS, ABC, NBC would battle over who had the rights and would pay for the rights to broadcast it. They got more out of it than the content creators. The content creators and arts, television, and movies fought the same fight that music content creators fought, that the distributors felt like they deserved more than the creators. In comes the internet and blows all of this stuff away. And ultimately, what you're seeing is the result of the blessing and the curse that is the internet. So the internet comes along, a content creator, Shonda Rhimes decides, wait, you broadcast guys are not paying me fairly. I'm gonna make a deal with who did she go with? Netflix?
Maybe I can't remember.
I can't remember who she signed with, but she signs a stream deal, and now it's seen by fewer people, but her piece of the pie is bigger. Tyler Perry is doing his thing in the theaters and doing his plays, decides to do his movies, and he does his movies a different way as well. And eventually, they just through internet are able to create side ways to distribute content. Game change, total game change. And so now, many of us were broadcast participants. The way that the broadcast signal is sent changes. We can't have our rabbit ears anymore. We have to go digital. Digital begins to change. They begin to restrict that more. And then cable is introduced. Cable goes crazy because we're paying $400 a month for cable. And somebody says, let's stream it. And so for all of you folks that are reluctant with technology like I sometimes can be, that's what we're dealing with now. Broadcast television, streaming television, cable television. And it really comes down to the money and how much we want to pay. There's a whole lot that goes on with that. That's a whole nother podcast that just will kind of be geeky for some people, but for me, it's fascinating. But it's fascinating as a content creator, which I have been and want to be a content creator. It presents amazingly beautiful opportunities because there's so many ways to distribute my content. I'm not limited by you telling me as a distributor that you don't like it. I'll go over to one of the other 10 options that I have.
Yeah.
Suits is a show that once it was made, and this is the beauty of it, once Suits was created, it's created. There's 9 seasons ready to go. 9 seasons ready to go. There's a limited number of millions of people who've seen it who now get a better option of seeing it, a greater opportunity through broadcast television. And so you can take that content that you've created and just go over and over and over. So all of you guys that are thinking about making movies and films, hey, get your camera and get to work. Because when you hit, you hit. When it's made, it's made. When it's done, it's done. You got a product now that can be sold and resold, which is a beautiful thing. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I wonder if it will still be on Netflix. Will still have access to it when Fox has it. I
Well,
wonder how that's
yeah,
gonna
and that's
work.
all
I
about
don't
the
know.
deal because it's
Yeah.
exclusivity or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like Star
haven't seen
Wars
that yet.
has been on TNT and the Turner, I think that Turner system, that contract expires. I'm almost promising you it's going exclusively to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And they're going to pull all that content back with deals that they made. I'm telling you, NFL fans, Major League Baseball fans, NBA fans, the dream of those guys is to broadcast their content on their channel, to stream on their channel. The NFL would love to have their games, have the 100 and something million people that watch the Super Bowl, which is still stunning, it's the largest audience ever, to have that audience to watch it, but they streamed it. That means they kept all of the money. And that's a fascinating thing in itself. Let me ask you this. So let's go back to Suits. Where's it going? What's next? Where are we going with Suits?
Well, they're talking about having a spinoff, and from what I've heard, it sounds like they could be in production already, but it'd be based in California, in L.A.
Oh.
And so where the first one was supposed to be New York. I have reservations about that. I would love for Suits to come back. I want Suits to come back.
But you wanted to come back.
I wanted to come back with the characters who were originally on the Suits.
Going.
I know.
That's where we're going.
And, I don't know what everyone is doing or if you kind of burn out. It's just like for them playing those roles, it was a job just like, people have jobs every day. And at some point you kind of say, well, I'm going to move on somewhere else or do something different. And they're, as people and as human beings, they're certainly entitled to do that. But as a viewer, I would really love to see that cast come back together. I don't know how that could even happen.
So here's
not that, but how they would write the story.
Here's the challenge.
How the story would come
Here's the
together.
challenge. Was
What's
Harvey's real name Gabriel?
Yes.
Okay.
Gabriel
Here's the
Mott.
problem. When they first started the show, years 1 and 2, Harvey was getting $60,000 per episode.
Okay.
Years 3 through 5, 100. Years 6 through 9, 150. Oh, I'm sorry, 6 through 9, $150,000 per episode.
But he also was producing.
Yeah,
I'm
just talking about the acting.
He was, and so was Mike Ross.
Mike Trash Ross.
Mike. So was Patrick J. Adams, who really is Mike Ross, who obviously
that comment.
feelings,
I made the comment about the price.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go back to your saying bringing them back
But
together.
they were getting paid for both roles.
Right, but I'm just saying. So
being on the show and producing.
No.
Yeah, they were.
These are actors per season. I don't think. Okay, well you're right. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know how they broke it up, but they were producing during later seasons.
Was Jessica Sarah Rafferty? Who was Jessica? What was her real name?
That's that is her real name. It's Donna Paulson.
So Donna is Sarah.
Donna is Sarah. See,
okay, and so I'm looking. She went from 35,000 to 60,000. So the thing
and
that
they
you have,
deserve that.
Yes, the challenge that you have in launching it today and using the characters. Where does that pay start now?
I don't know.
Right. So somebody's got to put up the money to pay these guys, and that it could get kind of pricey. It's a gamble, but I mean, so we know Meghan ain't coming back. Meghan is getting a mere $50,000 per episode. Meghan Markle to appear on the show.
Well, that's not going to happen because she's married to Prince Harry,
Well,
so we
and
can
that's
just
where
close
I'm
that
going.
door and
That's-
leave that
that's where I'm
there.
going.
But that's okay because
So Mike
we
comes
know
back
that.
as a single man or with a wife that works all the time, something like that.
Or, well, they can have somebody else replace her character. I mean, that's happened before in shows. That's kind of hard to do, but it's been so long since some people have seen her because I think she actually kind of left because they moved to Washington. So the story was they moved to the state of Washington to do nonprofit work, as I remember. So it's been a while. So it could be that somebody else could step in and play that role, or maybe they talk about it, but she's not there.
So I want to. Can I quote something? I want to read something and I want to quote and give credit to the writer. I just want to because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
This is Sabina Smitham from GQ. She said 7 reasons why you need to watch Suits immediately. This is actually pretty fascinating. This was back in 2015, but I think it's still applicable. Number 1, reality and Suits have never met. That's pretty good.
That's why I like it because it's my escape. It's my escape when everything else is driving me crazy. That's what I go watch.
I think this is a brilliant line by Sabina. It's pretty much Game of Thrones in Tom Ford suits.
I've heard people say that. Yeah.
That's nuts. That's fantastic. Number 3, Harvey Specter is a new age philosopher.
He is.
Now Harvey said some things that I did note.
Well, you don't watch. You don't follow all the Harvey sites on Instagram because then you know.
No, that'd be too much.
No, here's one. Here's one. Winners don't whine.
Harvey Specter. Okay,
Yeah, I know.
spoken
Yeah.
like Harvey. Check this out. This is great. This is great.
What?
Number 4, the smartest guy in the room is the one who made the worst life choices. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, that's
Yeah.
so deep.
Yeah.
That's so because
he
that's
knows.
Mike
He's
Ross.
learned, right.
He is, and I'll tell you, if you watch
He's
the
just- well,
episodes,
I'm glad he gets credit for being the
if you watch
smartest
the
guy in the room.
episodes, Mike's brilliance is unchallenged. He never loses a brilliance fight. He wins them all. He's that good. The dude is that bad. He's a bad man. He just makes the worst life choices. Number 5,
You will get off of that.
when it's all going blank up, family steps up. And that's really great because they will sound like they are having the fight of a life and don't like each other. But boy, if you come after one of them,
Yeah.
they will circle the wagons
Mm-hmm.
and they're coming at you. I've seen brothers who fight amongst themselves like they hate each other. But if you go after one of those brothers, they are coming after you like they've lost their minds. And
Yeah.
that's so crazy. Family steps up. Number 6, it's dripping in pop culture nostalgia, which is so cool because we've talked about the timelessness of suits.
Yeah.
It's weird. Most of Harvey's suits are they're on point.
Yeah. That's the thing.
They're on point.
It doesn't look like a show that was done,
Yeah,
10,
it's weird.
12, 15
And
years
your girl
ago.
Jessica's on fire.
Yeah, all the time.
Jessica's on
I'm
fire.
looking on Pinterest to see if I can
Jessica's
find her clothes.
wardrobe. I'm telling you right now,
Where
if you're
are
out there
they?
and you're a designer, you could do a site called "What Would Jessica Wear,"
Yeah.
and you would immediately start selling clothes.
But you know who else's clothes stepped up a lot?
Who?
And that was Donna Paulson, because
Yes,
her wardrobe.
yes,
And what
yes.
happened was, if you watch as you watch the show, you watch her evolve from being basically an administrative assistant to becoming COO of the firm, the law firm, and you watch her wardrobe change. And so the story is told through so many lenses, and she's the one. She knows everything. She's always known everything. I relate a lot to Donna because I tend to have an eye on a number of things in different areas and can kind of help people out with.
There
with
are
what
certainly
I know.
some
strong
similarities.
I don't want to say I know everything, but
There's some strong
but-
similarities in terms of y'all's completeness, and frequently I will have a conversation with you. This is no lie, y'all. I don't mind just being really brutally honest here. I'll have a conversation with her. It'll be a 30-minute conversation, and when we finish, I have an answer, and I realize she had that answer when we started that conversation.
So yes, he is like Harvey.
She just like,
Yeah.
we did that
Yeah,
whole
he didn't
dance,
listen.
and she knew that I couldn't handle it if she'd given it to me just raw. So she let me drive all around the building, walk up and down the steps on every floor, go in every office, and I come out and I give an answer. She said, "Oh, that's a good idea." I'm like, God dang it, it happened again.
Sometimes it's just how you have to do it. You avoid the argument and you just let them learn. But no,
That's fabulous.
But you know what? It's so funny. I asked you about your favorite character. Now I have to tell you, in terms of mine, because I thought about this before I asked you, how much I feel like there's a lot. Like I told someone not long ago, I'm Harvey. I really like Harvey's character.
Wow.
I just a lot of things about him. Like he's a fighter. He's smart. He thinks, and he wins. so I mean, I like there's things about Harvey that I would like to think, not 100% with anyone, but there are traits I would love to see. I love Jessica because she's a boss. I mean, she just is. Donna, like, yeah, she's the same way. They have some very strong traits, personality traits, and things that I relate to. Lewis Litt, I like just watching. He'd be a fun friend to hang out with or something because he's funny.
Oh, but it would
he
be
likes
so
cats
draining.
and classical music, but
He would make you so tired.
well, like once in a while.
But
hang
you
out,
love
know.
him, but he makes you tired.
Yeah,
You just,
but
Lewis.
yeah, and I think Mike Ross he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with, especially because he would drive Rudy crazy. So yeah.
He would, but you know what? I'll tell you, and here's the interesting thing. I've learned to tremendously respect people in the space, right? I'm at work. I am people like me because I stay in my lane, but I respect your juice. So when I find out on a job, and it's not like I have a lot of jobs on my job. I have a person that a new boss will come in, and I find a person that communicates well with them. Then that becomes my spokesperson. If there's something that I think will advance the ball and help us do our job better, I will talk to the person who is the good communicator. In other words, I don't feel like I learned about servant leadership, and I learned that you don't have to be the person to advance it as long as it advances. And if I have something that I think will help us and I have a person that's a better person at communicating it, I'll go with that person. Let them do it.
Yeah.
And I'll even tell them what I'm doing. I think you can communicate this better, but I think this makes sense. We'll look at it, and if we can build consensus on this topic, they'll take it and we'll move forward, and the overall team moves forward. For my bosses, there have been times when they never knew I was involved in something.
Right.
But I think that's a characteristic of the servant leadership. So I could work with a guy like Mike. Now, understand this. Mike gonna get some Rudyologies and Rudyisms when we're alone, because I'm gonna try to get Mike to stop taking these shortcuts and make Mike understand that, just like the show does reveal, what happens over time because of some of the mischief that Mike gets into. Most people have trust issues with Mike. That's the problem with that kind of behavior. If you do it, you can justify it and all of that stuff, but I'm never going to really fully trust you.
But you have to admit that he improves
Yes.
during the course of the
Yes.
show.
He improves
so
tremendously,
he's
and I
great,
still
yeah.
would not complete. And the
But he
people
get-
around
but
him.
what the whole thing that's keeping him kind of caught up in a knot through so many seasons, and I hate to give a lot of this away, but I will say it's because he's hiding the fact that he didn't pass the bar and is not really an attorney. So everybody's got to help cover up for that, and that you see how that affects a number of characters
Yeah.
throughout the years. So anyway, I don't want to tell people too much. I want them to go watch Suits.
Yeah, it's so much in it. It really is. It's a very entertaining piece. I insist I don't love it like she does, and every time she falls asleep, I stand in front of the television and watch the episode.
And I don't fall asleep because I'm bored. I fall asleep because
Yeah,
by the
she
time
just
I
puts it
watch
on too late. She
it
just
comes on
she
too
has to hang
late.
out late at night. So she passes out, and I'm standing there.
Yeah.
She'll wake up to me standing at the foot of the bed in front of the television, and I will have been there for 15 minutes watching some crazy turn that it took that I just couldn't walk away from. So just incredible.
Well, good. Well, the guy who plays Mike Ross, Patrick Adams, and Sarah Rafferty, who plays Donna, are getting together, and they're doing a podcast about the show. I can't wait for it
that's
to come
fun.
out. Yeah.
That's
So
fine.
I don't think it's.
They've also been in a lot of commercials.
Yeah. They've brought that cast back.
Super
so I'm
Bowl, they
wondering,
were
like,
all over it.
well, they were there in the award season. They were there. I was
Yep.
like, okay, hold on. You're teasing us. So if I'm seeing original characters in these roles,
Yeah, everybody got kind of pumped.
I want to see
Everybody got
original.
pumped
I'm
seeing it.
watching Gina Torres. She's doing pieces. She's got a deal with Elf Cosmetics, I guess it is. I'm seeing her everywhere now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them places that I didn't see them before.
Yeah.
So I want to see them back together.
Yeah.
In Suits. How about that?
So yeah, so I think we're done.
Yeah.
But let me just do this. I'm going to always try to remember, and I try to do it in my everyday life, to credit the people that deserve the credit, right? And to call out by name, because we know Suits and we have these opinions about it. But there's a note that I found in Wikipedia says Aaron Korsh. The season was created by Aaron Korsh and was aired on USA Network in the United States. The season was produced by Hypnotic Films and Television and Universal Cables. The executive producers were Korsh, Doug Lemon, and David Bartis. I wanted to say those names because
Oh, I have one more.
this is, yes.
Christopher Ting, the music. Oh my gosh. I mean, he
Oh yeah,
wrote or
crazy.
curated the
We
music.
we do
lot of
more
songs, but yeah.
Shazamming while we watch that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to call those names because in all of these situations in life, in business and family, and all of this, creating a team is everything.
Yeah.
The beauty of a team, though, are people that are leading the team that hand torches and batons to people on levels below them that allow them the freedom to create and be and do what they do.
The leadership, right.
This is a perfect example of what happens when you provide the right guidance, the right resources, but then you turn them loose and you don't get in the way.
Right. Yeah. That's important.
It's a crazy, and like I said, from the casting people, I don't have the names of the casting. If I find those, I'll try to post them somewhere. The casting director, the casting staff, um, the character development, the writers, the way these characters develop over 9 seasons is amazing.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
all of these little nuances and little things about them, and you root for them, and they make you mad, and you emote as a result of what they've exposed you to. But I don't feel like they drive you nuts with a character.
Yeah.
They give you enough to know them, and then you're ready to move on with the topic.
Because honestly, there's so many other characters. We've talked about the kind of the major characters, but there are other characters who have played, consistent roles in the show, who've come and gone over the seasons, and they bring a lot to it too. So you're probably not going to watch that and not see someone that you know from someplace else. They've done a great job with that.
Yeah, it's just awesome. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to talk about it because we laugh together in pseudo arguments and discussions about Mike and his fiascos. We're amazed at watching Meghan Markle at this point in her life, and just really gives you some insight into. I mean, television insight. It's not like we hung out together and went out to lunch, but you get to see the pre-princess version and get to know a little bit about her talents and her abilities, and you kind of see that she has some skills.
Yeah, she was good.
This kid was not.
Yeah.
She's not. And I don't say kid disrespectfully. I say kid because she's beautifully younger than I am. And it is pretty awesome to see that she did not come to the table empty-handed, and it's like, okay, Harry, I see what's up.
Yeah.
I see what's up with you. I kind of understand a little bit about you now. Okay, that's good, because that little insight into her talents and her skills and what she did and how she chose was, okay, I get it. So yeah, it's incredibly entertaining, incredibly fun, and if you're just getting
Brother
started,
and sister watch it. So it's not just us, like even our family, like people.
yeah, and people get people, and it's growing. Yeah, like I said, it's not going to broadcast television because it's failing. It's because it's flying, and they're trying to get more and more episodes off the shelf.
So if you haven't seen it, watch it. And what's great about each season is they have 14 or 15 episodes per season, so there's a whole lot to watch.
Right. Yeah, it's just awesome. It's the binging person's dream, and you can go in and get it and have a ball with it.
That's it.
All right. So that's a wrap on Suits. We'll continue to move these topics around because this is a lot of fun, and we start to argue about something and catch it. Oh, wait a minute, got to do a podcast on that. And so this has been a joy because this is a fun show for us, and it's fun for us to look at this as a topic. And all of these things give you an opportunity to sometimes do a little bit of, you end up doing a little bit of self-examination, or you see something that reminds you of you. Sometimes you like it and sometimes you don't. And if you do, it gives you an opportunity to make a change. And that's what a lot of this stuff does. It entertains us, but it also kind of every now and then trips up and shows you something like, oh, wait a minute, let me think about that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right.
And thank you all for listening.
Thank
Shout
you.
out to all our folks, especially over those in Europe.
Yes.
Those over there in Europe and Germany, I think.
Yeah, I said I got to learn some
Yeah,
phrases in German. I got a buddy at
We've
work.
got to
I gotta
pick
get
up
him to
on
teach
that a
me
little bit. But
I'll do better.
We're glad you're tuning in. Hope that you found this piece entertaining at least, and learned
Watch
a little
Suits.
bit about
Tell us
Suits.
what you see.
Yeah,
Tell us what you think.
comment. Let us know what you think.
All right.
All right.
Y'all be good now.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Officially Fenner thanks you for joining us.
Please subscribe and hit that like button.